So today I'm going to talk about why I use Vim to create all of my documents. Let's get started. Good morning everyone and welcome back to the channel. So as you heard from the intro, we're going to talk about Vim today. So I've actually got quite a few reasons why I love Vim. I've got another video coming up where I talk about why I don't use Vim to program, but we'll save that for that video. So I guess the first place to start would be Vim Keys. If you used Vim, you either love Vim Keys or you absolutely hate them. And most people, when they first use Vim, absolutely hate them. But once you've gotten used to them, and once you've gotten used to a completely keyboard-driven text editing environment, it is so much easier to use that you end up wanting to use Vim macros and, well, I guess Vim keys for everything that you use. I've got Vim plugins for Firefox, VS Codium. Whenever I use an IDE like Visual Studio, I try to get a Vim plugin for that. Once you get used to Vim keys, you don't want to get rid of Vim keys, unless I guess you're an Emacs user, then you've got your own way of doing things. But Vim keys are my first reason for wanting to write everything in Vim. So my second reason, since Vim is a plain text editor, you can write anything that you want with it. So if I want to do, say, Markdown, if I want to do LaTeX, if I want to do Graph, I'm not restricted in what I can do. With a rich text editor like Word or anything in... Actually, what's the LibreOffice? I actually don't know Libre Document Creator. I've never actually used the LibreOffice suite, so I'm not even sure. But with a rich text editor like that, you're limited to what the rich text editor will let you do. But with just a plain text editor like Vim, if I want to do Markdown and then convert that to a PDF with Pandoc, or if I want to use LaTeX and then use PDF LaTeX and convert that into a PDF file, I can do that. There's nothing stopping me from doing that. And that's one of the strengths of using a plain text editor. You're not limited in how you write your documents. If you use any sort of text formatter like that, you can basically do anything a rich text editor... Well, it's not even basically. You can do everything that you can do with a rich text editor. You just have to learn how it's done with that text formatter. And going on from that, Vim script makes my life so much easier. It's a little weird when you first look at Vim script, but once you get used to it, setting up Vim macros to autofill, like, say I'm doing LaTeX, I don't want to write \document class, I don't want to do anything like that. I can just set up a macro to do it and basically just hit my macro keys, let it auto-write those commands. I've got stuff set up for HTML, I've got stuff set up for Markdown. Markdown's not as bad because usually stuff's very simple. I've got some stuff set up for LaTeX. I don't use LaTeX as much, but it's still helpful when I do write LaTeX. So yeah, Vim script, it's weirdly formatted, but once you work out how it works, it is really simple and it's a quick and dirty way to just set up your macros and get everything basically running smoothly, and you stop worrying about how long it takes to actually write some of these commands just because you can do it in like one or two key presses depending on how long you make your macros. My last reason is that since Vim is such a simple program that is so customizable with plugins, by default, its interface is very, very simple, and its interface is only going to be as complicated as you want to make it. So the only plugin that I'm running is a simple Powerline plugin that basically tells me my word count and a couple other useful features like that. It also displays whether I'm in insert mode, normal mode, visual mode, any of those. Obviously it says that down the bottom, but when it's all in one place with your word count and other stuff like that, it's a bit simpler to read. Plus, because it's in a colored bar, it changes depending on what mode you're in. It's a bit easier to notice what mode you're in. Because its interface is so simple, I tend to get far less distracted than when I'm using, like back when I was using Microsoft Word, there's just buttons everywhere. You don't know what half the buttons do, but there's buttons everywhere. And when you're writing, I find that it's easier to be in a very distraction-free environment. I don't really understand how people can... This isn't related to my text editor, but I don't know how people can go and write in like a Starbucks or something like that. There's way too much noise to be doing that, and it's not really my thing to do. But back to the text editor, because it's such a simple interface, I find that I get far less distracted looking at it. I can just focus on the text that I'm writing and basically not really have to worry about anything else that's happening around me. All I have is my word count and a couple other useful things like that, and besides that, completely clean interface. Oh, I guess I also have my line numbers. but those are really useful, especially in Vim, just because you can directly jump to the line that you want to use. And I hadn't thought of this until I recently watched a Luke Smith video, but like if I write one paragraph, I tend to put that on one line, basically just let it put stuff on a new line visually, but it's not really on a new line. But because of that, it makes it really difficult to diff documents, and I hadn't even thought of that. And with most things like that, like with Markdown and LaTeX, you can put a single line break and it doesn't actually affect the document. It's generally you have to put 2 line breaks for anything to actually happen, and that, I guess, is to make diffing easier. I just hadn't thought of doing it, and I'm probably going to do that from now on. So I think that's pretty much everything for this video. If you like this video, remember to like and subscribe and hit the little bell icon below if you want to see more from my channel. And yeah, I'm going to do some separate videos on Markdown, Groff, and probably LaTeX at some point. I'm not sure when, so don't hold your breath for those coming out. The Markdown one will probably be first, just because I know Markdown well enough. I don't think I know LaTeX and Groff well enough to actually explain how they work to someone else. So those will be on the back burner for a while, but the Markdown one will definitely be coming soon. So yeah, if you like, did that. So I reckon that's pretty much everything. So yeah, I'm out.